In this demo, I will show you how to create cross-tabulations using StatsIQ in Qualtrics. So to create cross-tabulations for more advanced statistical processing using Qualtrics, we will select the Data Analysis option. And under the Data Analysis tab, if you have a subscription to this StatsIQ, which is a more advanced statistical analysis tool in Qualtrics, that would be over here. Otherwise, if you don't have this option, really the best thing you can do to do cross-tabulations is under this option. In another video, I showed how we can use the cross-tabs option to relate or cross-tabulate two survey questions. So in this demo, we are going to repeat the same process, but this time, in addition to computing percent distributions, we are also going to have StatsIQ make the statistical analysis for us. That is, StatsIQ will tell us whether two variables are significantly correlated or not. So let's select the StatsIQ. In the StatsIQ window, you'll have these options on the left side. So you have the describe. So this one is used if you simply want to summarize question by question. So this is similar to the tally or tabulate in the reports option. If you want to do some correlation analysis, that is, if you want to see if a particular demographic variable is correlated to a research variable, then the option to select is this relate. So when you hover over this button here, it says select at least two variables from the list below to relate. So it's probably best to just confine your analysis to two variables because as you increase the number of variables that you correlate, the analysis becomes more complicated. So let's say that I, once again, let's go back to the survey questions. Here we have the demographic questions such as which of the following sections of BA100 are you taking? So this is the respondent identifying himself or herself as belonging to one of these three sections. This will be the independent variable. We want to compare how each of these, the students in each of these sections answer a research question. And the research question that we want to study are these Likert statements. So this will be, please rate your level of agreement to each of the following statements. And we have about 8 statements here. We want to see if the section where the student belongs is significantly correlated to these statements. Or in other words, we want to see if the responses of each of the responses of each of the three sections either are the same or similar, meaning there's no significant association between section and the responses to these questions, or if the percent distribution among the three sections will differ in terms of how they respond to these three questions. All right, so now let's go back to the Qualtrics so we can carry out the test. So I'm going to select the two variables. When I relate, we will select two variables. The first one is question number 1. Is which of the following BA100 sections are you taking? So let's click that, and it's highlighted. Then I'm going to select the other variable that I want to cross-tabulate with that demographic question. And here you can do, since this is a group of Likert statements, you can select this entire matrix, or if you want to do statement by statement, you can select that as well. So for convenience, it's best to just select this question as a group. And now I have the two variables. Okay, the first one is which of the following BA100 sections are you taking, and the other is the rate your level of agreement to each of the following statements. Now you'll note that alongside this particular question, there's that key, right? So what it says, when you relate, each selected variable will be related to this key variable. So the key variable will be the independent variable. Okay, so now let's go ahead and relate. Now Qualtrics is computing, and there you go. All right, so you see here's the output, or part of the output. Which of the following sections are you taking? So you have the 3 sections here, and then you have the first statement. The first statement is BA100 has helped me make friends and connections. The percent distribution here, you have to make sure that the percent distribution is computed correctly. Now, since the sections are our independent variable, meaning we want to compare the subgroups' responses to this question, we have to compute or ask Qualtrics to compute the percentages correctly. That is, there are 3 different ways of computing percentages. All percent, meaning it will compute the number of students who responded to agree or strongly agree in relation to the total number of responses. So typically that's not the one that you will be using. So you will be using either the row percent or column percent. Now, which one is the correct one? Well, the correct one will be based on the groups that you are comparing. So here, the section is the independent variable. Therefore, you would want the percent to add up to 100 across the row. All right? So we will select row percent. Note that now you have these percentages that add up to 100%. Okay, so that's the quick computation of the table or cross-tabulation of the variable section versus question number 1, the first question in the response variable. An advantage of using StatsIQ compared to the cross-tabulation regular cross-tab option is that in StatsIQ, when you relate two variables, StatsIQ will give you this statistical results along with its interpretation. So you see here, it says, there is a strong statistically significant relationship between question number 1, which is which of the following sections a student is taking, and the research question, BA100 has helped me make friends and connections. Now, to see what this the significant relationship between Q1 and the research question, let's download this summary information into Excel so that we can have a better look at the summarized table. So I just clicked on this export data analysis for Excel, and you will note at the bottom of my screen here, it shows the Excel exported output. Okay, so here it is. So this is for the question section cross-tabulated against the first statement. And the first statement is BA100 helped me make friends and connections. The data says, or here's the output, the chi-square test, which is the basis for that conclusion that was stated in the StatsIQ report, is this p-value. Now, if you set your alpha or your significance to 0.05, for you to make a conclusion that the variable section and the response variable are statistically significantly correlated, you would want this p-value to be less than 0.05. If the p-value is greater than 0.05, then the conclusion would be that there is no significant correlation between the two variables. Okay, so we see here, if let me make these columns a little bit wider so you can see percent distributions. You will note that the Ashland Monday class taught by Bacon and Pittman, and this is the pilot section that has the cohort students. You will note that the percentages of students in agreement with the statement of BA100 has helped me make friends and connection is highest. And the Ashland, the online section, if you look at this here, that not as high. All right, so that's how you create a cross-tabulation in Qualtrics using the StatsIQ module.